Hi, Edie.
Hello.
We are here today to talk about our new release, which is, I think the previous founders chats we've had have been, like completely brand new features. This one, we're considering an update, but a big update to selfies, which is exciting. Selfies has been a feature that has been around for a long time. I feel like almost since the beginning of when we rebuilt the app. Um, but selfies were strictly in the sense of mirror selfies. And it was also highly related to the calendar, right? So the idea was to be able to track how you actually look in your outfits and how that evolves over time and seeing that in the calendar. But we've had a lot of, I think, good user feedback along the way about how, the challenges with just the traditional mirror selfies and how those could be more useful. But maybe we start there.
Yeah.
Then we'll get into the feature demo. I guess you kind of what do you feel like has been some of the feedback along the way on selfies?
So we've always had selfies, right? Because we knew that it's helpful. It's helpful to visualize. It's helpful to have this sort of visual record of what you wear. But you guys know this, selfies has always been linked to the calendar. So you actually didn't have the flexibility. So we received a lot of feedback from users saying, okay, I want to upload a selfie for the outfit. Right. So it's outside of the calendar, has nothing to do with the calendar. I can just kind of have like how does it look on me? So
Yep.
we've always know that that's something that people really wanted. And so in this update, it was important for us to incorporate that feedback, and then just add more flexibility, because we agree with you, right? Even just in building this, I would say Deb and I, we thought we were going to have this founders chat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Turns out is that we kind of push it back this week, to just make sure that like we're in the final phase of, sort of, kind of looking at this feature and getting it ready.
And I think the other thing we heard from folks was, and I think it's related, right, is that the primary execution of outfits in Index right now is outfit boards, which are great. We love the outfit board. But there is, a difference in visualization. Like there is just a difference in
Yeah.
how the outfit looks and seems, and the vibe of it when it's in flat lay versus on me. And then finally, the final layer to that, I think, is like for the folks who loved mirror selfies, you love mirror selfies, and that's great. It is a piece of friction in your day, though, to go and take
Yeah.
that selfie in the mirror. And it's something that, I think a lot of people intend to do and they kind of
Yeah.
see that it would be useful, but it just is a moment in your day that's hard to actually get to for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
So
And so I think those are the things we heard. Yeah. Go ahead, Edie.
totally. That's me, right? Every day I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I have these two mirrors in the
Yeah.
foyer as I leave, right by my
Yeah.
front door, and I'm going to take a selfie. I never do because you just forget. You get rushed. I have two kids. It gets a little crazy. And then the other
Yeah.
feedback that we heard was some people like, well, I don't have a full length mirror, right? So it's impossible actually for me to take a selfie. So yeah, so we've heard a
Yeah.
lot. Anyway, without further ado, maybe let me just take you through the
Yeah.
the new build, help orient you a little bit more, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here you have your good old board view, right? So this is something that we're very familiar with. You notice that we added a toggle at the bottom, very similar to what's already on the calendar. You have your board and you have your selfie. So here, when you click over to the selfie, this is where you're going to see if you have selfies, your mirror selfies from the calendar linked to these outfits, you're going to start to see them in a grid view. So you can scroll through. I think it's very cool to kind of see all your selfies here. On top of that, let's just say I have an outfit that doesn't have a selfie linked. So you can now click on it. And then there are two options now to add a selfie, right? You can add your good old mirror selfie. But now we also very excited about this, that we're giving you the ability to add a virtual selfie. So let's give that a try. So this is going to take some time to generate, roughly about 15 to 20 seconds. So while this is generating, I guess, you guys are probably thinking, okay, what's a virtual selfie? And you're like, okay, well, I'm assuming that you're going to take this outfit and put it on me. And you're exactly right. So this is where we're actually using AI to creating an avatar version of yourself. And what this is relying on is that it's relying on a reference selfie, which is typically a mirror selfie that you've already uploaded into our database. We're using that as a reference. And then I'll show you that you can change that reference anytime to tweak the results of your virtual selfie. So now we also in this version give you this like really big zoomed view of your selfies. And you can actually now scroll through, and this will be a gallery of all of your selfies. We're very excited here.
Yeah, and
I know that
your boards too, right? You can toggle back
and your
over
boards,
right there.
yes. You click on the little
Yep.
top here and you can actually scroll through. Wow, like full screen, right? I know that many of you spent a lot of time curating your outfits, and I think they deserve to be full screen. So now, so in this version, we're having both board and selfie in full gallery in its full glory. Let's keep going here. So then, so let's see. Actually, let me come back to this outfit, right? So here, you now have the option to manage all your selfies. So this is where, let's just say, if you didn't like this generation, we do give you the ability to create another virtual selfie, right? So this will go. You also have a toggle between the gallery view and the grid view. So just give you more flexibility in terms of viewing options. I do want to talk about reference selfie. Reference selfie is important because, as I said, right, when we do these AI generations, there are two inputs. One is your outfit and one is your reference selfie. And how you're posing, how you're holding your phone, is all sort of critical inputs into how this AI generation is going to go. For people who's already taken a lot of mirror selfies, to just make this process easy, we essentially pull the latest mirror selfie that you have on the calendar in as a reference selfie to just kind of get you going really easily. But you can always come back here and I'll show you where this is. You can access reference selfie through manage selfie, right? So this is how you can update that. Another way to do this is that we actually put this as a part of your profile. So you can go here, go to account settings, account information, virtual selfie. This is where your reference selfie is. So if you get a generation of an AI selfie where you're like, well, I don't really quite like this, I would say this is a place where you will come and tweak that. At this point, we've been testing this feature for about 2 or 3 weeks in beta. I guess any
Hmm.
tips and tricks on reference selfie?
Yeah, well, I'd say, I mean, one is definitely recommend a full body shot.
Mm,
Right.
yep.
So it's going to generate based on what you give it. And so if it's just a, a picture of your face or your torso, it's going to make up the bottom half. So
Yeah.
definitely you're going to get a more accurate result there. I think lighting is sensitive, right? And your hair,
Yeah.
I think, is the other thing we
Mm,
hear. So if you don't like the way your hair
yeah.
looks in the generations, check your reference selfie. How did your hair look there?
Yeah.
And then if there's something kind of weird in the lighting, if you're kind of maybe your skin tone looks a little
Yeah.
different than you feel like it usually does, again, I think check your reference selfie. It could be that you had
I
like a big blast of light coming in through the window on that photo.
I have that.
Um, and so that is affecting the
Yeah.
generation. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, reference selfie is important because that's what all
Yeah,
of these
totally.
are based upon.
I guess anything else we want to mention?
I think just reinforcing the fact that when you add that outfit to the calendar, the selfie will automatically pull through. So I think this also just makes it a lot easier to have that beautiful filled in selfie calendar that
Yeah,
looks
that's a really
amazing and
good
people
point.
love.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I just did that, right? So then this is an outfit, and then when I added to it my selfies here. So this
Yeah.
is where, because what we've noticed is we love that at month end we do a lot of people post their kind of monthly onto Instagram, and what we've
Yep.
noticed that you're either an outfit board or a selfie board, right? So like people gravitate towards one. It's a lot of work to actually make sure both are filled. But now we're automating that a little bit. So our hope is that we can help you more seamlessly create a selfie calendar.
Yeah. Again, the original intention of selfies was, that visualization of how your style on you is evolving over time. And so I think that just makes it all much easier to get that visualization into the calendar. So we love that as well. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's it on the demo. I mean, of course, I think there's, more intricacies, but we won't bore you with
yeah,
the nitty gritty details. But I hope those are the things we hope you're excited about.
yeah.
Uh,
Great. Let me take away this. I think there's a couple other things we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think so. Let's touch on who this, I think, particularly the virtual selfies feature is for, and I guess in part who it isn't for. So I think we mentioned at the top, this idea of outfit boards are great. Not everyone has the imagination to visualize, take an outfit board, have that reflection in your head of what you look like, and then put the outfit board on body. I think the other thing we heard a lot was this concept of like, I love making new outfits in Index. I have a ton of new outfits that I've built, but I just end up not actually wearing a lot of them because I get to that try on stage in the morning when I'm already 10 minutes late and trying to rush out the door, and it's not quite right, and I have to tweak, and I'm changing things, and it's super stressful. And at the end of the day, because I'm rushing out the door, I end up just defaulting to an outfit that I already know and have worn before, which is
Yeah.
great. We do love outfit repeaters, but I think this can lead to that same feeling of, ugh, I'm bored in my closet because I'm not actually able to get newness and freshness out of the closet I have, because at the end of the day, even though I'm coming up with all these new ideas, something is stuck in that visualization phase. And, we all have this intention of, a big weekend try on session where we take all our new outfits out of the closet, put them on and see how they look like. But it just never quite happens. I know I've had that intention in the past. And so I think what we're hearing from our user testing and as we've rolled this out into beta is this is most helpful for those folks who are coming up with those new outfits, but just have that gap between how it looks on the outfit board and how it actually looks on me. And of course, and we'll get to this in a second, this isn't perfect, but it is more than good enough to be able to get a vibe check of the outfit and kind of quickly eliminate options that you actually wouldn't end up wearing. And so that when you go to stand in front of the mirror and put something on in the morning, you're able to get to a new outfit that works more quickly and more easily. So that is the use case we primarily envision. Um, anything, I don't know, anything to that. That was a kind of a bit of a monologue, but I think that's who it's most helpful for. And then I think secondarily, I think helpful for, as we kind of touched on before, the folks who like the idea of a selfie, like the idea of being able to see visually how things are evolving, but just again, the intention of, I'm going to take a selfie, I'm going to get in front of the mirror and do it. And it just never actually happens. And so the ability to actually just generate those virtually and have that little filled in calendar where you can, again, get that vibe visualization. I think that is who it is most helpful for.
Yeah.
And I guess in reverse, who this isn't as useful for is if you're someone who has no problem looking at an outfit board and visualizing that on your body, then this is not going to be as useful for you. Right? And that's okay. Not every feature that we build has to be for every person. And so if that's something that you feel like you don't struggle with, not a problem for you at all, then, keep going on. But, not everyone has to use every tool.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll also quickly touch on just like, I think we spoke in the previous founders chat where we talked about the enhanced launch, just on the two guidelines that we are thinking about internally for when we introduce an AI feature. We talked about two things. One is this genuinely useful for users, or at least some segment of users, towards our mission of wearing your closet more and understanding your style better? And so we think yes. Again, this idea of being able to actually get that new outfit on yourself and out the door versus defaulting to the same old outfit over and over again, and then potentially feeling bored, and then potentially filling that boredom with shopping instead of your closet. I think our intention for this feature fulfills that. And then the second one is that it's optional, right? The way that we designed this feature, again, is a button that you press. It is opt-in. And so if you are someone, again, who just doesn't find this useful or otherwise doesn't want to use it, then that's totally fine. Don't press the button.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
actually personally, I'm quite proud of the way that we integrate this feature into an
Yep.
existing Selfies feature, right? So
Yep.
this isn't the shiny new toy, right? AI shiny. We don't
Yep.
see it that way, right? This is where we know that keeping a visual record of what you wear every day is helpful. And you can do it either through a mirror selfie, or if you think that AI can be a tool to help you achieve the same thing, then we give you
Mhm.
the capability to do that.
Yeah.
And that's how we really see this feature.
Yeah. Um, but do we want to touch on accuracy? Right.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I think
Yeah,
that's
well,
always the
we know that
question.
AI is never 100%, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we know that. And I think, the first thing, I think when we were in user testing for this, and as we see people adopt this, I think the first reaction we tend to get is, oh, wow, like, ooh, I didn't
Yeah,
know that it could look that accurate and that much like me, which is great. But then the second feedback we usually always get, and I think it's the rose and the thorn of this feature in our implementation, is you look at it closely and you go, okay, well that jacket's a little bit longer than the representation is showing. My pants are a little bit wider, and that is, this can't be 100% accurate. And I think the place
yeah,
that it comes out in this tool is in the exact fit, proportions, drape, all of that stuff. I think that's the thorn. I think is that it's very easy for any user when you're using this in your own closet to critique it. But I think that's also kind of the rose in a way,
yeah.
because
You know how to calibrate yourself.
you know, because the thing is, you know your own clothes, right? You know your own clothes, and that's why you're able to look at it and
Yeah,
say, that's not quite right. But on the whole, still a useful visualization to catch the vibe of the
yeah,
outfit. I think as we were developing this, comparing this to kind of other implementations of virtual try on out there that are currently being used very much in a shopping context.
yeah.
Um, it's much harder to critique those tools because they are putting clothes that you have no idea
Yeah.
what they're actually
Well,
like on you.
the critique will come
Yeah.
through the return rate,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
So this
Exactly.
is so
Yeah.
zooming back up, I will say we're I think we're all very excited about the virtual try-on capabilities, right? And then it's actually very rapidly evolving, and it's gotten better and better and better. And we've been watching this space for some time, and I will say we felt like this was the right time. And again, right, with all these AI features that we knew that they exist, we intentionally didn't really dabble into it because we didn't think it was good enough, or that we couldn't scale it effectively enough. And it comes to a tipping point where technology gets there, right? We're able to scale it
Yeah.
from a quality standpoint, it becomes good enough, with caveats, and then from a
Yeah.
cost and scale perspective, that we're able to fit it into our business model, which is why we look for kind of that sort of perfect moment to be able to release a feature out at scale to you.
Yeah.
So this is where so we're all very excited about virtual try-on. We talk to our friends in the industry, retailers, other fashion tech founders. Everybody's very excited about virtual try-on. But to Devin's point, right, there are challenges. I think when it comes to virtual try-on, there's a visualization piece and there is a fit piece, which is really
Yeah.
really important when it comes to buying new clothes, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes Deb and I, and we go down this rabbit hole. We're like, can we ever solve? Is fit really a problem that we could ever solve? Because fit is emotional. Fit is highly subjective. I might think something fits on Devin perfectly, and she's like, ah, it's a little tight or it's a little loose. Who knows, right? So
Yeah.
it's so we know that there's fit challenges, but then at the same time, we're like, okay, well, these are the clothes that you already own. If you really want to know how it fits, just go to your closet and try it on. So anyway, that's kind
Yeah.
of our, which is also why I'm very comfortable, at least, to say, okay, well, I think there's a really great use case here for the item that you already own, and we're gonna
Yeah.
really use this to solve the visualization piece first.
But I think in our implementation, our intention is that this is a vibe check, not a fitting room, right? Ultimately, like the fitting room is in your own closet. You've already tried on these pieces. You own
Yeah,
them, right? Um,
maybe there's some naming convention that we could, right, because when you say try on, when you try something in the fitting
yeah,
room, a big part of it is like, oh, like, does it fit me? And to
yeah,
call it virtual try on, I know
yeah,
sometimes the connotation is that.
yeah. So anyway, we know that it is not 100% perfect. We
We've heard a
still
lot of it,
like
yes.
we'll still take your feedback. Because I think part of this again, because it's like you and as we did this in our own testing and our internal testing, it's like when I look at the try-ons of Edie, I'm like, well, those look great. They look great to me. They look pretty accurate to me,
Yes.
right? And vice versa. Whereas it's really when I do my own try-ons, that is the moment when I can say, oh, okay, that's where that's off. That's where that's off. So
Yeah.
we'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
Although I think we do know the places where we know the specific kind of proportion issues that it tends to have the most problems with. But I think, again, the purpose of this is vibe check, not fitting room. And I think there are a few things, well, also just as tips, for those who are just trying to get it to be the best it can be. There are some things that you can do with your outfit boards to help it out, which I think is worth mentioning.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, pay attention to the relative proportions of your items on your boards, right? So we've seen instances, for example, where like there's a dress that is actually a midi dress, but on the outfit board, the dress is just kind of relatively smaller than the other items around it, and so the generation will interpret it as a mini. So kind of that's something to play around with. And then the other thing
Well,
is
actually,
layering. Yeah,
oh,
go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
can we pause on that real quick, because we have gotten comments there, and this is it's related, which is, I think many of you have wrote in and said, well, why do I need to resize the same item every time on my outfit board, right? And so this is something that we're actively thinking about. So this is where I think it helps to make your virtual selfie more accurate. But in taking a little bit more effort to kind of size the item to the right proportion, we're gonna start to look at how you size existing outfit boards, and then be able to use that information to start auto layout of your new boards. Right. So this is where the more that you pay attention to the proportion, the more that you size an earring to the size that you always want to size it on your outfit board, the more that we're able to capture that information and eventually do it automatically for you.
The other quick tip I'll share is just on your outfit boards to make the generation as good as can be right now is layering, right? So if you intend, for example, if you intend the shirt to be untucked, then put the shirt over the pants on the outfit board. The opposite is true. If you intend the shirt to be tucked, put it
Okay.
under the
Yep.
pants.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
stuff like that, where it just helps it do a little bit better. Again,
Yeah.
not perfect. I can't promise you that those will work 100% of the time, but those are the things we've noticed that help
Yeah.
make fit and your intention for what the outfit is like a little bit better. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I think a couple more things. One is I should have mentioned this when we were talking about the reference selfie. Is the more simple you make your reference selfie, the
Mm,
better the result is. So the reason
yeah.
why I say this is because some users wrote in and said that why does my selfie always wear a hat? Turns out they're wearing a hat in their reference selfie, right? And then remember that reference selfie is 50% of the input every time you generate a selfie, a virtual selfie. So if you're wearing a hat and then your outfit doesn't have a hat, we think that the hat should be in there, right? Because it's not being replaced by something else. So basically, the more simple you can make your reference selfie, the better.
Okay. Moving on. Like, what's next with this? I guess
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
we're thinking about with regards
yeah.
to this feature.
So we wanted to get this feature out as soon as possible, and I will say it's been this was a big endeavor. We contained this feature within your closet right now, right? So now you can go try on everything that you own. Where this is going is I'm actually quite excited. We're playing here is that what if this feature could live in open closet, which is like I can go into Devon's closet, right? And then Devon owns some really amazing pieces that I don't know. I don't know if it works for me. And so what if I can go try on Devon's outfit and really, be able to just open up the aperture of experimentation, of inspiration. We think that could be really cool. If there's anything comes up, write to us. And then based on that, based on feedback, we're going to continue to iterate. And then I think we're going to think about what is the best way to implement this into Open Closet.
Yeah. But again, intended not from a fit perspective or from a vibe perspective.
No,
Because I
I
think
love
there's
that.
a
Not, yeah,
because I think I mean, it's like, it's common stylist advice, right? To be like, go to the mall and try, if you're trying to figure out your style, go to the mall and just try on a bunch of different styles. Because I think you might like something in theory on someone else, but then once you just see that style on your body, you're like, ooh, actually not for me, right? And that can be like a very useful style guidance experience. And so I think we're interested in possibly extending to Open Closet for that same kind of reason, the ability to quickly experiment with your style by others that you might directly be inspired by, and see how that feels on you. But anyway, that's all to come, and maybe. And
awesome,
so,
right?
let us know if you love that idea or hate that idea, I guess, because we haven't
Yes,
done it yet. So
yeah. We have
yeah,
not done it so far. I'm just sitting here scrolling through my gallery view, and I'm like, it makes me happy, and
yeah,
yeah, what gets me
yeah.
through the day.
All right. Well,
Cool,
thanks, folks. Always excited, excited to hear what you think about this. We're excited to finally get it out. I think took us a little longer than we
yes,
hoped, but more good stuff to come. So we'll
amazing.
chat soon. We'll see you
All
soon.
right,
All
bye.
right. Bye.